Great, thank you. Hawarden, Iowa City Council is now called to order on Wednesday, February 25th, 2015 at 5:30 p.m. Present are council members and staff other than Mike DeBryan, who's coming home today at some point, so we'll welcome him back. First standard agenda item 1A, approval of the February 11th, 2015 council meeting minutes.
So moved.
There's been a motion by Travis. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Tim. Any further questions or clarifications? All in favor of the February 11th City Council meeting minutes, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Those opposed? That passes 4-0. Next is approval of claims for February 25th. We'll start to my left with Tim with questions, please.
No.
No questions. Travis?
No questions, thanks.
Larry, any questions? Monty, questions?
So moved.
There's been a motion by Monty, seconded by Tim, for the February 25th claims for payment. All in favor of that motion, say aye.
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 Those opposed? Again, that passes 4-0. Seeing no one in the audience for open business from the community, we'll move on to the mayor's report. It was our honor this past Monday to have the second graders from West Sioux come, and thanks to Tom and Gary and the staff, we gave them a tour, and also Chad Krebs. We got to see the police department, the front offices, and they came up and talked a little bit about city government, and their best part I think they like is when they get to sit in the chairs and pretend they're council members. So hopefully we'll get some council members or mayors out of the second graders at some point. So we're thankful for that. And also remind the citizens that the city council vote special election will be this Tuesday, March the 3rd. So we'd encourage everyone to come out and vote for that position to our left. So anything from council comments?
Yes, I would like to check in the possibility of our 3 blocks downtown of the business district, if they could be milled down and resurfaced. If that's something we could discuss sometime or get some bids on, or how we want to pay for it.
We could try to get some pricing, some estimates if you'd like.
Okay.
We have talked to Wayne Schlofeld about it in the past, but we haven't received any pricing from him.
Thank you.
Anything else from council members? Hearing that, we'll move to staff reports. Tom.
The last meeting I mentioned about some of the scrap that we're getting from the electric project, and just a little update on that. We've taken down 112 transformers. 58 of those we've had to have disposed of because of PCBs, and 54 of them we did sell, and we've came out about $2,600 ahead on those so far. And on the scrap metal, since 2011 when we started the project, we've brought in $36,400 for iron and copper. We don't get a lot for the poles. We're pretty happy when people take them. So that's all I have.
Okay, thank you very much. Hi, Brenda. Anything from your point of view?
Nothing from me.
Okay, thanks. Gary Tucker, please.
I just want to make note that we do have a Board of Adjustment meeting next Tuesday at 4:30 p.m. here at the city offices to discuss a variance for Adam Waterman. There's also a Planning and Zoning Board meeting on Thursday at 4:30 p.m. Talk about some of our zoning code and look at our comprehensive plan, and there's some areas in town that our current zoning map and the future use map don't concur, aren't the same. So we're going to meet with the Planning and Zoning Board and look at those areas, and as well as discuss maybe our mobile home ordinance as well. So that'll be next Thursday. The only other thing I have tonight is that there's a chamber coffee hosted by the chamber upstairs here tomorrow at 10 o'clock. My understanding they're going to serve Opal's rolls, so that should bring out folks, I would guess. Doesn't get much better than that. So if you don't come for anything else, come and eat Opal's rolls. That's all.
Okay. Any questions for staff from council? Hearing none, we'll move on to other agenda items. Number 3, hospital update. Jason's unable to be here, but I think Gary has some information.
Yeah, I just got an email here about 4:30 this afternoon. Just said he's not feeling the best and won't be able to make the meeting tonight. Says the only update that he has is that the board met and they're going to rebid some bid. They are attempting to rebid some bid categories. Says, and he just says the bids are due March 17th, 2015. So that's the only information that I received.
Okay, thank you. Agenda item number 4, this is a resolution 2015-03. This would be adopting a final proposed draft budget for publication, ordering a notice of public hearing, which would then be on March the 11th on the proposed final budget estimate for 2015 to 2016. We've gone through the budget pretty intently the last month and a half or so. Anything else you want to add to what this resolution does?
No, I think
Sets
we've
the public hearing and
I think we've discussed it.
okay.
No one seemed to have any questions or any concerns, so we went ahead and formulated the notice of public hearing to be published. It'll be in the paper tomorrow, and then we'll have to have the public hearing on the 11th and get it over to the courthouse by the 15th, I guess. So Thursday, Friday after our 11th meeting, it'll have to go to the courthouse for certification. So.
Is there a motion for resolution 2015-03?
So move.
Moved by Larry. Is there a second? Seconded by Travis. Further questions or clarifications? Hearing none, a roll call vote, please, for resolution 2015-03.
Bowder.
Aye.
Harvey.
Yep.
Olson.
Aye.
Kurse.
Aye.
On a 4-0 roll call vote, resolution 2015-03 passes. Agenda item number 5. This is another resolution, 04, resolution to provide for a notice of hearing on proposed plans, specifications, form of contract, and estimate of cost for the electric distribution improvement project, taking the bids therefore for the second part, phase 2 of this construction. Want to give us a little more overview with that, please?
Sure. We bid the materials. Those bids came in well under budget. And we always bid those early because it takes about 12 weeks for those materials to arrive. So those were bid in December. I think the bids came in about $100,000 under what we estimated them to be. The bids for the actual construction piece of it are due March 3rd. We'll do as we always do. We'll open them up on March 3rd at 1:30. The DGR will take all the bids back to their office and compile the bids on a bid sheet, a bid form, and they'll come back to our meeting on the 11th with their recommendation. And that way they can. It's best to do it that way rather than open them at a meeting, because they can take them back and check for any type of errors in addition or any concerns that they might have with the bond that's being posted or something like that. So they'll be open on the 3rd. A recommendation will be brought to the council on the 11th after the public hearing.
Resolution 2015-04, is there a motion?
Is last summer's work all done?
No, there's about a month and a half probably of work to do. So, and they'll be back as soon as we got an email from them. I think as soon as the frost is out of the ground, probably. But
And that completes phase 1?
that completes phase 1 and actually part of phase 2 that we pushed into phase 1 because we got such aggressive pricing. So yeah, phase 1 will be done, and this will be phase 2 and all of phase 2. So.
And this involves what area of town?
You want to?
Pretty much from Central Avenue east and from 11th Street north, with the exception.
Most of the residential district.
Correct, yep. The DGR has indicated it'll be a nice project to bid because it's mostly single phase They're out of the downtown area and the rough areas to bid. Most of these boring contractors like this kind of work.
We've had a lot of
So
interest.
residents should understand there's going to be some
Yeah, yeah,
construction and some
yeah,
holes dug and some,
yeah. That's a good question. And there are a lot of, yeah, thank you. For once, no, just kidding. There are a lot of contractors really interested. I think we've had 10 or 11 bidders or something like that, so we've had a lot of interest. So I think we should, I'll be shocked if we don't get a pretty aggressive bid. The amount they've estimated for this portion is 1.4 million, so we'll see what how the bids come in comparison, so.
There's been a motion by Tim. Is there a second to that?
Second.
Seconded by Travis. Any further comments in regards to this resolution? Hearing none, a roll call vote, please, for Resolution 2015-04.
Kurth.
Aye.
Olson.
Aye.
Bowder.
Aye.
Harvey.
yep.
On a 4-0 roll call vote, Resolution 2015-04 passes. Resolution 2015-05 is the agenda item number 6. This would be setting the date for the public hearing on the proposal to enter into an electric revolving revenue loan agreement in the principal amount not to exceed $6,150,000.
That number is inclusive of our current debt and the 2.8 million that we're proposing to borrow that will be involved in the public hearing next on the March 11th. If you remember correctly, maybe we'll go back in time a little bit. In 2011, we started this process and we structured the financing so that I think we anticipated at that time in 2014 that we would borrow the balance for phase 2, and in 2000, so we did that, and then because we got such aggressive pricing, we're able to push some of the phase 2 work into phase 1. So in 2013, we did what's called a reimbursement resolution, which allows us to reimburse those expenses. So so some of this bond issue that we're doing now will actually pay for some of the work that's already been done, but we've just funded it internally right now. By doing it this way, we've been able to reduce the amount of borrowing from the estimated 3.6 million is what we planned on in 2011. For our 2014 phase, we were looking at borrowing 3.6 million. And because we're able to push it forward into very aggressive bidding from our contractors and also very attractive interest rates, that 3.6 million has gone down to where we only need to borrow 2.8 million. Still a big number, but it's a lot less than what we anticipated. Therefore, the payments are going to be reduced from about I think we're at 535 or something like that. They're going to be reduced down to about 425 a year, the annual payment. So it really is. It's done a lot of things. It's really improved our cash flow. It's reduced the amount of money that we have to borrow, and you know, makes the project look that much better, I think, in the scheme of things. So. But it's a little bit deceiving when it says 6.1 million because we're really looking at a $2.8 million borrowing at this time. So,
Does this fund the electric upgrade? Are we done?
No, we won't be done yet.
Okay.
There'll be some, an area up by LG Everts that'll be aerial, and a small area south of town. And we had thought maybe that could be done when we're done with this part of it. That could be done in smaller sections, probably internally. Maybe bring a boring crew in and have our guys work on that. And then there's our radial feed line needs to be replaced at some point. That is our line coming in from NIPCO. And our transformers will have to be replaced as well. So that's all part of the initial study that we did.
Have we borrowed money before that's not covered by this 6.1 million?
no. Well,
I'm trying to get my head around just how much money this project has cost and is anticipated to cost. Did we borrow any money for Phase 1 that's not included in this 6.1 million?
No, no,
So
nothing
this
that's
is,
not
this is, 6.1 is to date,
right. That will be
including all of Phase 2,
right.
okay?
That's
What
correct.
is left after this? Bits and pieces,
The radio
and the
feed.
line into town.
Yeah, the radio feed, I anticipate, I think we talked about $1 million or so on that at some point in the future. I mean, it's not gonna be tomorrow, but someday. Transformers, you're probably looking at $1 million there as well at some
Probably.
point. Substation
How much to
transformers.
finish this, the immediate project? You've got 6.1 for 1 and 2. You've
Yeah.
got bits and pieces out there that are in the near future.
Yeah, those are 300,000 or 400,000 maybe.
Probably.
Those will be paid internally, so they'll be paid out of cash. outright.
So we have spent
They won't be borrowed.
$7 million on electric
Yeah,
in the past, whatever, 3 years.
that's correct.
And we anticipate needing 2 or 3 more million in the far future.
I'd say in the next 5 to 10 years, probably.
Okay.
That would be my best guess. And you know, there was some conversation at one time about even looking at another feed into town, a second feed, so that we weren't reliant on a radial feed, because if that goes down, we're down. The whole town is down. There's no,
We've been there.
yeah, we've been there, and there's no way to send the power any other direction. So that any type of redundancy. So if we were to ever do that, that's a very major cost. I mean, several million probably to get. We'd have to go probably north of town to out towards Poet. There's a substation out there, I think, is probably the
Poet or loop back into NIPCO's line on another
back into
area,
NIPCO
the
somewhere.
north and east.
Sometimes it's nice to have two different companies. If you're going to do a redundant feed, sometimes it's nice to have two different companies. That would be Mid-American out there, I believe, right?
Right.
Because then, if NIPCO goes down, NIPCO goes down. If NIPCO goes down, Mid-American may still have power. So sometimes, if we get to that point someday, somebody will get to that point, probably someday, but probably be beyond my lifetime.
So right now, electric is on the hook for $6.15 million,
Right.
and they'll be paying this off out of our profits to the tune of almost $480-some thousand a year,
430,
$430,000 a year for the next how many years?
20.
So when they start, I'm just trying to get everybody out there to understand,
Absolutely.
we have borrowed a bunch of money, and we've done underground cabling, and we've made some improvements here, and we've got $7 million on the hook, and we're going to have to pay for it.
That's right.
And that's got to come out of profits. So it's got to come from someplace, and it's going to come out of transfers
And it's.
to a great degree.
And I think I think another piece of that as well is when we talk about the general fund transfers, we have to really make sure that we don't have issues with. That's why one of the reasons we reduce our transfers as much as we have is because we have these projects that we have to pay for, and they need to be paid for from the utilities that create the need or that create the revenue as well. And so we can't. The cash only goes so far. So if you're paying for these electric bonds, you can't be transferring it into the general fund for other things. So we have to be really cognizant of that as we go through the budget process each year, that we don't increase those transfers, because we don't have the money to do that without increasing rates.
I think that was the point I was trying to make, but I'm not sure. So moved.
Been a motion by Monty. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Larry. Any further questions or comments? Roll call vote, please, for Resolution 2015-05.
Olson.
Aye.
Kurth.
Aye.
Harvey.
Yep.
Bowder.
Aye.
On a 4-0 roll call vote, Resolution 2015-05 passes. Agenda item number 7. This would be the approval, if so wished, of the Dorsey Whitney Legal Services engagement letter relating to electric revenue bonds.
Again, this is part of the SEC requirements that, with the new regulations, regulatory requirements that they have for public finance. Anytime you use a bond attorney to provide an opinion now, you have to have an engagement letter. And we've always used them before and without, but because of these new requirements, they have to issue an engagement letter and explain to you what their functions are and what the approximate cost is going to be for their services and those kinds of things. So just another part of the SEC regulatory
What was that cost?
requirement. I'm sorry,
What was that cost?
$38,000, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
For a letter.
38,000 is what they're estimating.
Not to exceed.
Damn.
Is there a motion for approval of the Dorsey Whitney letter? Tim?
Second.
Motion by Tim, seconded by Travis. Further questions or clarification? All in favor of that approval, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That passes 4-0. Agenda item number 8, this would be the third reading and final reading of ordinance 692. This ordinance increasing the internet network access rates and cable television rates. The first 2 readings we've had in the past meetings, so this is the third and final reading if this passes tonight.
So moved.
Been a motion by Travis. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Tim.
Did we get any feedback from anybody yet?
Yes.
I had a phone call, one phone call, just
And it was-
inquiring, but I can't imagine there's a lot of people happy about it, but
I'm not sure a lot of people understand.
maybe not.
You know, we are not selling internet. The city of Hawarden doesn't provide internet service. The city of Hawarden supplies the physical pipe. And the cost to the internet provider is going up. Now, we all assume that the providers, ACS Net and Longlines, are going to raise their rates accordingly. But I don't have control over what they charge for internet. All I have control over is what I charge for the pipe. So, you know, if you've got concerns about what your service is for what you're getting for money, you know, I'm not sure I'm the person to talk to about it. At least, not right now. All I'm doing is raising the rates on the pipe. That was the confusion. If they're upset with the money, I can live with that, but I need them to understand that we're just providing the infrastructure. I'm done.
Any other comments in regard to the third reading of ordinance 692? Hearing none, a roll call vote, please, for the third reading of ordinance 692.
Bowder.
Aye.
Harvey.
Yep.
Kurth.
Aye.
Olson.
Aye.
What's the effective date?
They will have to be in April. I mean, we can't do it before then, so.
Yeah, I understand that. I'm just,
First billing in April, yep. Whenever the billing cycle is in April, it'll be the 5th of April or,
we've only got 2 customers. When do you bill them?
well, the internet will be April. Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't know, I thought you were talking cable as well, so cable customers,
My complaints have been internet primarily.
they'll all be April, so.
The last agenda item is a consent agenda for a request from the Fraternal Order of Eagles for liquor license transfer to Hawarden Community Center on Saturday, March the 14th, 2015. Paperwork is all in.
So
Yep.
moved.
It's been a motion by Larry. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Travis. All in favor of the liquor license transfer, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That passes 4-0. Our Our next regular meeting then will be March the 11th. A number of public hearings will be held at that point. Is there a motion to adjourn? Moved by Tim. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Travis. All in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Our thanks. The Hawarden City Council is now adjourned.